G3. Come meet and we're about to have a sit down. Wrap the phone up in plastic and stick it in the fridge. They know what we are, but they don't know what we did. Anything about a mixer, murder getting sick.
All right, I'm Garret.g3 Instagram here. I got the man himself, Ray Cash Care. Ray, what's up? Welcome. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, brother. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So we're just kind of sitting down, shooting the shit today. You know, we don't really do a podcast per se. We do what's called a sit down. Just kind of, you know, what a couple high-level guys like us will be talking about. We just had a great meal, some ribeye steaks, sweet potato fries in the air fryer, just chopping it up, afternoon of kicking it. We're here at my compound, my house, just enjoying the view, beautiful fall weather, hanging out, kicking it, man. How we do it?
I tell you, man, we did some man shit, and we are in the man cave of man caves. I tell you what, you come here, and if you don't have the alpha mentality, turn around because it's intimidating as fuck. But I tell you what, first thing I told you was I'm coming for mine, motherfuckers. So I love it. I mean, this place is fucking, you put the P in pimp, and I love it, you know, but you got you're well-rounded. You got a beautiful family. I met your family, beautiful wife. I tried fighting your 7-year-old son. He backed down, thank God. But other than that, man, you know, that's what it's about. It's about kicking it with good people and talking about lessons learned and growing.
100%, man. And you made a phone call when you first showed up, and we had a great workout this morning, and you know, great story. You know, we did legs first because I always get them out of the way, and we went set up the incline bench and started to do some chest. And Ray says, "Hey, you know, are you gonna do some chest?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You're gonna do chest with me." I said, well, you know, I've done dumber things, but I don't know, man. We'll give it a shot and try it out. So we ran some chest together with Ray and got the workout out of the way. But yeah, he showed up. You made a phone call when you showed up. Let's hear about it. What did you tell your wife?
Showed up here, guys. If you haven't seen G's fucking pad, it's breathtaking. I don't know what else to say. I mean, every fucking detail of this place is something that should be on Forbes magazine. And I told my wife, you know what? And I said it flat out, and I love her. When I get serious, it's like, bitch, we're getting the $1.1 million house. I got to step up my game. And she's like, we'll talk about it. And I said, no, it's going to happen. So I think that's part of the entrepreneurial mindset is you got to think big. And, you know, like I said, too many people fucking chase success. You can't chase success until you master average. And motherfucker, I mastered average. So now success is coming.
Yeah, buddy. And that's what it's all about, you know. So I was segueing into the chest workout because it's like when you're around people that are better than you, you got two choices, two options. You can either shy away or you can step up your game, right? Yeah. So you came to the compound here. First phone call was, hey, I'm going to call my wife and we're getting that new pad, baby.
We're getting it. We're getting it, you know. And I told her, I said, you know, we got to get out of that Q7 and put her in that Lambo like you got to. So man, I got my work cut out. I got to cut out, but you know, here's the deal, man. I fucking believe in myself. I'm surrounding myself with good motherfuckers like you. So there's nothing that I can't accomplish. You know, some of your crew here, I'm looking at him right now, already picking his brain. Yeah. I'm the key of networking with people who are fucking smarter than me, dropping the fucking ego and learning from them. Like, I don't give a shit how, fuck, motherfucker's 30 years old. I'm like, bitch, I can give him the finger. You know, and he's like, and he's making so, I'm looking at him over there, he's making so much coin. I was like, man, he's like, bitch, I don't need your money. But that's where I want to get to. Sure. You know, like, yeah. And people are like, that's insane. Like, guy charges an arm and a leg. He's like, no, man, I like your synergy. I don't need your money. I'm like, motherfucker, yeah, it's just, I'm fucking 22 years older than this kid. You know, I love him, with all due respect, brother. And I'm like, and my response was, motherfucker, I'm going to do the same thing when people come to me. It's like, you know what? I make so much fucking money. I just want to help you out. And I do. I like making an impact and helping people. So
100%. And tell us about the text message you got today, because we were talking earlier during the work about changing people's lives. And,
oh, yeah, man.
Dude, tell us about it, man.
Yeah, I got a cat that I started working with a while ago. I'm going to leave his name out of it, but he's down like 163 pounds. And, you know, he's like, I owe it all to your mentoring and your videos and this and that. And I told him, I said, brother, only half the work's done. You've taken it off. Now you got to keep it off. You got to find ways to, you took off that shit, that fat. And he was fat, right? I told him, you're not overweight, you're fucking fat. Now we've stripped the chassis down. Now let's build a combat chassis. Let's fucking make it bigger, better, faster, and stronger. Wow. And that's what we're doing, right? That's what it's about. I think, and as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as a husband, as a father, I think from time to time, we need to be put in those situations where we're stripped of everything, right? Losing a big deal, losing a lot of fucking money, backed up against the wall. That's where I shine. That's
Yeah.
where, that's where I'm shining because, if we're going to start asking questions, fuck you, I'm going to ask you a question. I don't care. Throw me out of here.
Sure.
First question I had when I asked him is, I said, why me? Why the fuck did you pick a dumb Irish kid? And I'm climbing, right? I'm coming after everybody. Why did you pick me for this podcast? Because, dude, you have some pipe hitters on this bitch.
Sure.
Right? So, so that was my question. So why don't you answer the audience's questions since we're asking questions?
Sure, let's do it, man. So, we really targeted Ray because he's on the come up, right? And this is what we do, right? We can see talent a mile away. We understand who's who and what's what, right? And it doesn't matter if you have all the shiny things yet, right? You don't need the Lambo.
They're coming.
Because you can recognize, when you're at the top of the game, you can recognize another guy that's at the top of his game, right? Like when I lost everything, I used to tell people like, I'm still rich, I'm just a little low on cash right now, right?
Yeah.
And so we identify, and I know for sure that you're rich, like real rich, right? Rich in knowledge, rich in experience, rich in heart, rich in principle, right? Rich in the things that matter in life, okay? Because what matters is not your house or your status or your Lambo or your watch. What matters is like who you are as a person, right?
I agree.
Like, do you have heart? So, today Ray and I are working out, and I know this guy's the push-up king. I know he's, built like a brick shit house and just puts people's dick in the dirt, right? I know that, but guess what? I'm willing to work out with him in an arena that, like, I'm not comfortable in. I got long arms, right? I'm 6'2.5", 6'3", right? And I'm like, let's bang some chest.
Yeah, we did it, man. Like I said, you ain't going to grow unless you know, man. If you want to grow, ladies and gentlemen, you got to know. You got to know how far you can go and then be pushed more. And that's what I do. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just taking the words that I've been preaching to people for fucking years and I'm applying them to myself, right? Yeah. I used to bet on everyone else, wait for everyone else, procrastinate like everybody else did. Fucking hate the word average. Fucking hate it. I hate that word. And then all of a sudden I started betting on myself. I started taking the shots, taking risk, and with me, it all stems from having Mama Bear. I have a great support at home. I have my wife and my daughter, and I told her, listen, I said, we're going to start this fucking journey. It's going to be, and it's hard, man.
Yeah.
Going overseas smoking motherfuckers is easier than being an entrepreneur because when you get in the business world, and this is what I've learned, and I'm learning this, is everybody says, oh man, we're waiting for you, we love you, we want to see you do it. But what I really think they're waiting for, and like Bedros Keuilian told me, they're waiting for you to fuck up. They're waiting for you to fall. They're waiting for you to fail to see what you do. And,
we're in your corner rooting for you,
I love it, man.
We're
I love
in your corner rooting for you. We're all about this.
You're not the they. You're the few. There's difference between the they, right? They don't understand that I'm not hungry. I'm fucking starving. They don't understand my drive. They don't understand why I'm crazy the way I am. But then I go to these events with other, entrepreneurs and like influencers of just the earth, the big names, the Frisellas, the Keuilians, the Grovers, the Coach Burks. They get it. Mm-hmm. They see it. They see something in me. They're like, and all it is they see a younger version, or when I say younger, shit, it might not even be age, just younger in the journey. They see themselves, the Whalens, and I could go on and on, the Fleshmans, all these guys that I'm friends with. I told them I'm coming for every one of you motherfuckers, and every one of them, every one of the top, I even told you, they're like, come get it, man. Come get it. Because that's the kind of people I'm going to surround myself with. I don't want to tell people I'm coming for them and they get, well, fuck you. I don't want that shit.
Right.
I want motherfuckers like, And I got to, listen, I'm going to give them props from the get-go. I know I'm not taking over this thing. This all started about 8 or 9 months ago with a nasty phone call from Wes Watson. Love that motherfucker. And I hate that motherfucker. And people that know him understand that. And $3,000. $3,000. That ain't a night out for a couple people having drinks and dinner now. $3,000. I procrastinated for about 4 or 6 months. Man, I don't know. On and on and on. And I know I was around like November. He finally wrote me and said, you motherfucker. He cussed me out. He chewed me out. He called me every name in the book and said, you're a pussy ass bitch. Now, my first initial reaction was, I want to fight Wes, and he's big as a house. But then my next reaction was, he's right. I am all these things that he's saying. I'm not willing to invest $3,000 in myself, and I did. And he helped me. And I'll tell you flat out, the secret he gave me, it's the systems. And like that's why I'm talking to this cat. I'm all about the systems. the front side, the back side. Because when I show up, I deliver. I just don't know how to do the other shit. You know, I'm the guy that shows up and says, let's destroy it. But then, you know, there's prep and post. I don't understand that. That's why I'm surrounding myself with these cats over here. I see you, Big Phil. And I'll call you up. And Zoom, all these guys, man, the best in the business. And it started working. And Wes was like, hit me up when you hit 10. All right, motherfucker, 10. And Wes isn't like, just hit me up. Show me the statement. You got to prove it to Wes. So I showed him a 10. I showed him a 30. I showed him a 50.
Now,
and then,
hold on, we're talking 50 a month, $50,000 a month. Okay, just for clarification, yeah.
And then it's like, he's like, I see you, big dog. And then it's like, hey, man, I want you to do a fucking testimonial for me. And I'm like, what? Look at that, man. I'm getting emotional. I'm like, what?
Right,
yeah, man. Good motherfucker changed my life.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have Matt Schneider. He's another guy. He's my more grounded guy who's helping me with business now. But Wes did that. So now I'm working with Matt Schneider and I'm bringing in like 100 G's a month. He's like, stop wasting my fucking time with 100 G's. Hit me up at 250. So now, like my business partner, Matt Schneider, and I, who've worked together for years, and I'm trying to get into all this stuff because I want to make a basic revenue stream. My basic income I need to make a month is 300 G's. I want that to be steady income, and then everything else is just, you know, whipped cream and the cherry and all the good stuff.
Icing on the cake, yeah.
That's what I want.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to get because wanting it, needing it, I'm fucking obsessed with it. I'm going to make it happen. It's just when. And, you know, the quicker the better.
Yeah. Well, we talked today about the winning attitude, right?
Oh, yeah,
the winning
man.
attitude doesn't even consider losing. The winning attitude doesn't even contemplate a loss. I tell Gage all the time, my son, the wrestling champion, you know, I'm like, we don't think about losing going into a fight, right? We don't think about getting injured. Yep. If anybody even so much as brings it up in the camp, they're out, right? We're done. We don't train with you. If you talk about getting injured, you talk about getting knocked out in the camp, you're out, right? Yeah. We don't talk about losing. We only think about winning, right? And we talk about the push-up contest you do. I mean, the guys that I've seen you do push-up contests against are like, they're big as a house, right? Yeah. And you know for sure that you're going to win when you go in there because you already made that decision in your mind ahead of time. I imagine when you go to war, same type of deal.
And that's why I'm wearing a camo, brother. We're at war today, man. War on masculinity and war on being average, you know. And the thing is all I've done, you know, the other day I was at Andy Elliott's event. God bless Mr. Grover, God bless Andy, but I showed up and, you know, challenged everybody to push-ups. Everybody's like, you're not challenging the right people. Motherfucker, they challenge me. I don't go around. I mean, like I offer, like if you want to challenge me, I know I'm going to lose, but you know, and you know every time I beat somebody, I tell them the same fucking thing. Everything. I tell them, it's not that you're bad, you're just not good. It's not that you're strong. It's not that you're weak, you're just not strong. And it's not that I can't be beat. It's just you can't beat me, motherfucker.
Right.
So that's what I tell people. And what I want them to do with that is, you know, like I did when everybody told me I never amount to anything. You know, I could be the victim, or I could turn around, fuel that shit, make it the victor. All right, well, I'm gonna come back. You know, every single person I beat, I tell them come back. They're like, how do you do this at almost 52? I come in with the mindset that I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to get beat. I can't be beat. And then it was like Mr. Grover who told me, he goes, then why don't you use that in business? And it was like a switch came on. I'm like, fuck, you're right. And, you know, I mean, 8 months I'm doing great. And that's not even my full-time job. I'm part of a gun company. So, you know, I am just, it's coming in, man, and I like it. And it, you know, like I heard from, Bedros, success leaves clues, and money does buy freedom. It buys me freedom to do, You know, my wife stays home. You know, I like stroking checks for, we were talking about, I like stroking checks for cars.
Yeah.
You know, I told Wes, I'm like, dude, he's like, stroke that check, bitch. You know, now my business coach, Matt Schneider's got me working. I'm trying to talk to you. Real estate. Like, what's next? I'm going to get a shirt that says, what's next? What can I destroy next? You know what I mean? Because that's what I want.
Yeah. And we talk about Wes. I mean, he is the godfather of coaching, you know. So, I coach with Wes. You coach with Wes, right? I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't coach with Wes right now, right?
If you're weak-hearted, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, he demands results, right? You know, he told me something the other day. He's like, hey, go handle this and, like, fuck off. You know, I'm like, okay, because I don't need a lot of direction, right? Yeah. You know, I'm a high-level guy, so it's like I just need you to kind of frame in a few things, and I'm good. I'll go to work, right? That's what I do. All I ever do is go to work my whole life. But, you know, I was having a day the other day, and I was, kind of feeling I think I was tired. I'd been training real hard and doing a lot of just, social media stuff, video shoots and things like that. And Kevin Gates, the rapper, texts me. He says, "I love you, brother," right? And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I text back and forth, and we had a good conversation. And I was telling Wes the story about it. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I've been coaching him for 2 years." Just like, this motherfucker, bro. Yeah. Like, unbelievable. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
well, he's result-driven. People want the results, and like I said, now it's all about expansion for me right now, as an entrepreneur. And you know what is an entrepreneur? Someone who gets up and takes risk. Every one of us is a risk taker. I just think people that are top of their game have taken more risk than most. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Looking around here, motherfucker, you've taken some risk. Yeah. You've taken some big risk, and I love it. To the point where like I'm willing to take the same risk if I get the same fucking results. I mean, dude, this place is fucking. Dude, I like this shit.
Thanks, brother.
I want this. I'm like, I want to buy 70 acres next door and build the same fucking place, but make mine an inch bigger, because it's all about whose is bigger.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we'd love to have you, right? I mean, think about neighbors. I mean, my God, I'd love to have a Navy SEAL and a high-level dude like you as my neighbor, Coincidentally, I do have a high-level neighbor who owns a mining company. Great guy, and super blessed to have him, so... that's what it's all about, right? It's all about having the right network, the right people in your corner, and every day waking up and making a decision about who you want to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't understand that, as a soldier or as a guy that comes from like a high-level fitness background or whatever it is, that you have to discipline yourself to do things you don't want to do every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And what I'm hearing you tell me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that it wasn't until recently that you understood you could take that mindset to business.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it only worked on one battlefield, but there's 3 battlefields that all human beings deal with. The internal battlefield, which is the struggle, which is what most fucking people deal with, the business field, and the home field. So all I did was, I was great at going overseas and doing that, but when I came home, I didn't have my affairs in order. Sure. I didn't have my family in order. I didn't have shit in order, and I was living, I was making 180 G's a year. And that's okay. And listen, I want to make this very clear to everybody on here. If you're content with making that kind of money, that's great, and you're happy, I have no problem with it. But if you're like me and you just can't, you're starting to realize what you can do with this money. And it's not about the toys, like you said, it's not the shiny things. It's about stroking checks for helping people out. Like, I believe, I've met Mr. Pena twice. I've talked to him on the phone, like Zoom, and I couldn't agree. Money can buy you happiness. If you say it can't, you're not shopping in the right place. That's a quote. Stroke a check for a church, something I did, do things like that. Help out, My goal is to make so much money. Me and my wife have a goal that, you have St. Jude's. We want to be able to take care of the medical bills. We want to take care of every single human being on planet Earth. God, we've had my mother-in-law and father-in-law both die of different forms of cancer. But when children are at the hospital, we want to be able to take care of all the bills at home, so they don't have to work.
100%.
That's where I want to get, and I'm nowhere near that, right? So,
sure.
And it's a great goal to have, and it's going to keep me driven. $1 million's not enough. 2 million's not going to be enough. 10 million's not going to be enough. I don't know. But when we can help as many people as we can, make an impact, that's hopefully, when it'll be hopefully enough. And I don't think that'll even be enough.
It's never enough. There's a great verse in the Bible. It's like, he who has money never has money enough. And that's the truth, right? Yeah. I sold a company. I had a big, 100-person party up here and catered event and this and that and the other thing. And I woke up the next day. I was up till 12:30, 1 o'clock. And we know that, that's rare for guys like us, right? Like, we don't stay out after midnight.
Nothing good happens after midnight unless you're closing the kind of deal that I'm not closing because I'm married now. Yeah, you're right. You're fucking right.
Yeah.
Love you, baby.
So the point is, I woke up the next day at 5:30 a.m. like, oh shit, right? Yeah. Like, I sold the company. I got to build another one. Yeah. And I kid you not, because I'm driven by fear, right? And that fear motivates me into action every day. Yeah. So when I wake up, it's fear, and fear turns to action because I don't want the things that I'm fearful of. Yeah. Right? And so I just do things, and I make small goals to achieve every single day that are in alignment with my big goals, right? And so, that system is how you get in shape. Right? It's how you become a good soldier. It's how you become a great entrepreneur. And it takes a lot of faith, because eating chicken and rice for 6 months straight or whatever it is in order to get lean, if you're trying to lose 163 pounds or whatever, like your guy, takes a lot of faith. right?
Yeah, yeah.
So does building businesses. We talked about a real estate transaction today that I did, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it was 2 years before I made $1. And I didn't know if I'm just throwing money at this thing. Oh, God, help me. I hope it works out, right? But that faith is what it takes, whether you're an athlete, whether you're in business, or whatever it is. And that faith has to be accompanied by discipline.
Oh, I agree, man.
Right?
And I think that the core foundation of discipline is fitness. Like, look at you, you're jacked. I like, you know, like, that's the first thing I look at. Like when you met your wife, I met your wife, she's beautiful. I got a beautiful wife, right?
Yeah.
You weren't attracted to her personality, you were attracted to her appearance.
100%.
Then you go deeper, right? That's what the process is about. But, you know, when you look at people that are disciplined, like perfect example, I don't want a coach that's fat.
No.
All my coaches are in shape.
100%.
Matt Schneider's a big jiu-jitsu guy, Wes, Bedros, all these guys.
Yeah.
They're all in shape, you know? And I don't get it. Because the more fit you are, statistically, the longer you live. And if you want to do more, you got to be around longer to do it. You know, I mean, enjoy time. Like I want to make enough money where if I don't want to work, I don't have to. So eventually grandkids are going to come and the cool shit. You know, spoil the fuck out of them. But I got a lot of work to do, man. I got a lot of people to catch up to. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. You know, we never really see how far along we are because we're success driven, we're motivated, we're overachievers, right? So, you know, from the outside looking in, we've got it all put together, right? But from the inside looking out, it's like being in shape, right? You know, I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh God, I'm a little soft, I'm this and that, I'm flat today, right? Everyone else is like, oh bro, have you been doing double days or you been working out? It's like, no, you know, so we don't see that, but the reason why we don't see that is because we're driven.
Yeah.
Right? And it's never good enough. And that mentality of keeping going and pushing, that's what it takes to be successful, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I just, like I said, apply whatever you're fucking good at, figure out what your 5% zone of genius is, and that's what I've done. And that's what I do, right? I love working with kids. I love speaking. We're branching off in the couples community now.
Yeah.
And I do corporate training. And I stay in my lane. And I like guns. So I've learned how to make money doing things I love. You know, they say you have to be purpose-driven. I am passion and purpose-driven. You can have fucking both if you know where to shop. I'm just, you know, and what I'm doing right now is I'm surrounding myself with other people in their 5% zone of genius. So that's what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to be around normal people. I've outgrown a lot of people in my life. I'm noticing this now. And people have said you've changed. I told you today, I haven't changed. I'm evolving. I'm not cockier with money. I'm not a bigger dick. Listen, if you have no money in your dick, when you have money, it's just going to amplify your dickness. Mm-hmm. If you're a great person, you love giving when you're poor, and you have money, it's just going to be amplified when you have more money. And I don't know what the definition of rich is. Like I said, my definition of rich has nothing to do with a monetary standpoint. I live by 4 things: family, fitness, finances, and faith. And as long as I'm rich in those things, right, the finances is creating generational wealth, and then creating what I call entrepreneur knowledge. I'm going to learn more from people, right? When this is over with, I'm going to get Phil in the corner and make him real uneasy, asking him questions because I want answers.
Yeah.
Same thing with Big Z Dog over here. But how the fuck am I going to get better if I don't ask? Sit around and wait? You ain't going to give me no knowledge with that shit.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So I always talk about the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, why, and then this was the wild card, how, right? Like, how the fuck did you do it, right? And these are the things that I love to ask, because if I can answer the 5 W's in any given situation, then I usually can figure it out, you know? And so we talk about finances. It's like, okay, well, who's your money manager, right? What investment strategies do you have? Like, what are you looking at in terms of, you know, the next economic cycle, and on and on and on, whether it's fitness, whether it's finances, whether it's family. You shared a great story about your wife and some of the challenges and successes that you've had and how you've overcame different obstacles in your marriage. And you said something to me today that was so important. You know, you're like, hey, you know, when you get married, that's when the real work starts, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I never thought of it that way, truthfully, because I thought like, okay, well, you're married and that's when like you've made it. You know, and then I got to thinking about like companies and exits that I've had and successful deal transactions. And it always comes down to where it's like, I made a bunch of money, right? Or for me, it was a bunch of money. I made a bunch of money and it's like all of a sudden, fuck, like Now I really got to get after it. Like, I got to find ways to keep that money. I got to find ways to grow it, right? And so for me, you know, the real work starts after the success. So, you know, we'd call dating the lack thereof a success, right? And then marriage the success of the dating. And you think like, oh, it's over, I'm married. Like, but you knew instinctively because of your experience that you shared with me, like, hey, after you're married is when the real work starts. After you make money is where the real work starts, right? Yeah. And I always thought, you know, growing up as a poor kid in a trailer that, you know, hey, guess what? Like, as soon as I get rich, it's all over. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm rich. But it doesn't work that way. You know, that's when the real work starts. Just like when you're in shape, right? You know, I see these young, you know, I train some kids at the gym and stuff, and you know, my daughters are a high school age, and so I help out the young kids that come over and hang out, and you know, a lot of them will get in shape in 6 months. Yeah. You know, real quick, they'll get, you know, 16, 17, 18-inch arms into 6, 7, 8 months of training depending on their genetics. And then it's like, but that's where the real work starts, right? It takes years to get that grainy physique and the veins and all this stuff, you know. We were on the yard with some guys yesterday at Wes's Mastermind, and it's like, look at this guy. He's got one little vein popping out and thinks he made it. Like, he's just talking shit, and we're laughing, you know. Unbelievable. Well, but that's when the work starts.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, and that's the problem. What I've noticed is too many people, they hit their goal, right? Like getting married, that's the goal. But then I see couples, like I've been with my wife for 20 years. We're in better shape now than we were before. People are like, I don't have the time. Find the time, motherfucker, right? Or you see one, and I see it like in business and everything. One of the couples, like the husband stays in shape and the wife gets out of shape, or vice versa, because they're not growing together. Same thing with like fucking business, man, right? You hit that first mill, everybody's like, I've done it. I'm a millionaire. First thing I learned from entrepreneurs is, bitch, you're not a millionaire until you hit 2 or 3. I'm like, shit. Taxes come out. You're not a millionaire. Look, Phil's laughing because he knows it's true. Fuck you. But what I've also learned is that, and I was guilty of it, you hit that goal and you stall out and you think, since I hit my goal, there's nowhere else to go. So it's like, well, if I hit $1 million, I hit my goal. Maybe I'll hit $1 million next year, I'll go down, but I hit my goal. It's like, no, if I hit 1, I can hit 2. Yeah. You know, if I hit 2, I can hit 3. And I do that with everything now. And I don't know how it's going to happen. But I know I'm going to make it happen. That's the mentality that I have. Yeah. You know, so I don't care, you know. Listen, I'll do it by myself. I'll jump in bed with other people, you know, as long as it makes sense from a business standpoint. And that's the one thing about me is I love working with other people. I have no problem with that. You know, like with the corporate training, I try to bring, you know, subject matter experts in. Because that's the thing, man. I'm like, you know, like Wes teaches people how to make a lot of fucking money. I make people better people, so then they can go to have the confidence to go to Wes or go to you and go to, you know, my business coach, Matt Schneider, the Bedroses and that, and go be better. I work from the inside out. Sure. Right? But Wes will tell you, man, I don't want you fat. I don't want you out of shape. Yeah. I think you got to, I think it's one of the key points of being disciplined is being in shape. Like, when I work with someone, I want them in shape. I don't want someone fucking fat. I don't. Yeah. Andy Elliott, dude, I want to work for that guy. You know why? Because every single person on his staff has to have a six-pack or they're fired. Yeah. He's like, that's it. He told Andy Frisella that. Andy Frisella like brought it up. I was like, damn. Right. I've seen that video running viral right now. It's crazy. And people were like, that's not fair. That's only not fair to the people that aren't willing to put in the fucking work. Sure. Or you could say, you know what? I'll be back in 90 days when this six-pack ab. Hold my job. I'll be back. Sure. That's it. Let me go handle it. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Andy Elliott's pretty big right now, to say the least, right? And you spent the weekend with him the other day. Crushing it. You know, so tell us a little bit about Andy and kind of his sales training and your experience, because I think it's worth talking about as these, you know, other guys ascend kind of through the ranks and get to the top of their game. I mean, it seems to me that you're right there, whether it's Wes or it's Andy or it's me or whoever. Like, talk about it. I can really resonate with Andy because Andy builds everything around the team, right? Trust, effort, attitude, mission, not together, everybody accomplishes more. He told me flat out, he's like, listen, I don't own this company. We own this company. He puts, you know, he pays his team well, but he wants them to produce. And when you create the right fucking environment with people, right, create that type of camaraderie, competition, and compassion, people are going to want to work for you. Shit, I mean, I was around him. We finished up the first night at 12 o'clock, right? I did the push-up contest. We had dinner, a bunch of us. And then I got up the next morning at 4:30. I started my 1,000 push-ups. And I said, hey, boss, I'm hitting my 1,000 push-ups. answered right away. He's like, good. He's up. He's at it, right? And that's what I love about him is, you know, what I love about him is Jacqueline, his wife. Stunning. I love her. Love you, Jacqueline. She's his ride or die, just like my Trisha. Yeah. So, like, what I'm doing now is like, now I'm looking at the couples thing, and I've got my business partner, Matt Schneider, and his wife, Kristen. I'm like, well, I want to bring my queen in on this, right? So you saw today.
Yeah.
I got her speaking. She speaks at church. I'm having her build her fucking confidence up, right? She's stunning to look at. But what comes out of her mouth, I want to be, you know, she's a very intelligent woman. So I literally just picked Andy's brain and said, how did you do this? He's like, you know, it's just a lot of hard work. I didn't stop. He builds the right team, surrounds himself with the right people. And all I do is when I get around all these names, you know, I'm not name dropping. I love the Whalens, all this.
Sure.
I just take little bits of knowledge from them and I put it in my tool bag. I told Whalen the other day when I was at his event, you know, my two biggest takeaways were, number one, I've got a lot of fucking work to do. That's why I love the couples thing. I have so much work to do. I'm far from perfect, but I'm chasing it. You know, there's only progression, and I'm chasing progression. And, you know, he made a comment. He's like, everybody's scared. Everybody's scared to get on stage. I was like, bitch, I'm scared because I'm not on your stage. And he's like, no, you need to create your own stage, and I'll come on it. And I'm like, fucking Sean Whalen said that to me?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, I'm being noticed. That's what I like about being here. It's like people see that I'm coming for them. Like real OGs of the business, right? You know, the names I've been saying, I'm not going to keep giving them the credit. Like you know, and even like Matt and them, they see it. They see it happening, and they're like, yeah, man, and they embrace it. And they're like, you know, a couple of them even said, welcome to the club. Yeah. You know, I'm not at the club yet, you know, but I'm coming through the door. And if you close that door, I'll fucking breach it. I'm coming in. Like, it's my time. It's our time, you know, me and my wife. And Team Care, we are on a whirlwind of fucking awesomeness, and we're not going to stop. And I'm so fucking motivated. I want to go find a way to go make some money right now. I'm like, fuck, what can I do now? Like, I'm looking to see what I can steal from here and pawn off or something, like, you know.
Right?
I'm looking at Phil's Rolex, seeing how I get off this. I'm going to go sell that on eBay.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. And so, you know, creating that venue where not only can you help other people, right, but then you can have the people that help you come help you help other people. Yeah. That's like amazing, right? And so that's one of the things that my mentor said to me recently. You know, he was like, look, you know, you've made money, you've done this, you've done that. He's like, I'm going to tell you right now, you're never going to be happy and fulfilled unless you utilize the gifts that God gave you to help other people.
I know who that is. Yeah, that's a good one.
And I'm like, wow. You know, like, and that really resonated with me. I had to like go hit pause on my life for a minute and take inventory and really start to think about like, oh, fuck, like, who am I? What do I want to be? And where do I want to go, right? Yeah. And it was that introspective, you know, look that I had to take, which really led me to really branch out and start sharing my life with other people. Yeah. Because he also told me, he's like, you're an asshole, you know? You got the whole thing sewed up. You got the family, you got the kids, you've got all this great experience. You know, you've been there, you've done that, you've overcame all these obstacles, you know, and you're just up at your little compound, hanging out with your family, right, doing your thing. He's like, you're never going to meet anybody and share the tools and the resources and the gifts you have if you don't put yourself out there and start, right? And since I've done that, you know, I'm forging alliances with guys like you know, I'm making friends with Phil, I'm doing all this neat stuff, and my network has grown exponentially, right? And you know, it's not about the money, it's about the fulfillment, you know, because I'm like Phil, I'm like, well, bro, I don't really need anything, but like, I like kicking it, so like, let me fucking help you, right? And, you know, that for me is fun, you know, and that just leads to business deals and other opportunities, right? Because when we're in a state of like not needing things, you know, and Wes and I talk about this a lot, you know, he's like, when I'm like, I got to make 100 grand today, then it's like difficult to make 100 grand, right? But if I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to respond to these messages and engage with these people and just try and affect change and value, right? Enjoy the process so much that the outcomes are inevitable, I'm winning.
Yeah, man.
Right?
I love it.
And that's the name of the game. So that's what I'm learning, you know what I mean? And I learned that from you today.
Yeah, man.
Big time.
And I'll tell you, the venue, you got to get the venue in your mind and body and soul. I see the venue. I see where I'm going to be. But, you know, I think the reason why I'm really starting to branch off is because I'm really coming to terms with who I am, right? And for the longest time, I was trying to be someone else, right? I was always trying to emulate and copy this motherfucker, or that motherfucker. And then, you know, a couple, and it's funny is because like, you know, I go around to the same entrepreneurs and the same mentors that I have, and it's like, did you motherfuckers text each other this answer? Because it's the same answer coming from each person. You know, they're like, I've been there, I've done that. You know, stop trying to be Wes and buy the Louis Vuitton. Stop trying to do this. Just be the best version of you. Yeah. And this is shit that I've been talking about, but I was practicing it, but I wasn't, you know, or excuse me, I was preaching it, but I wasn't practicing it until I started like really taking ownership of where I was, doing my self-reflection drills, looking in the mirror and going, man, are you going to be happy with making, and dude, listen, I make 200 grand. I mean, that's a great living. It's a great living. But, you know, I can do 1 or 2 speaking gigs a month and do a corporate gig, and I'm putting an extra 6 figures a month in the bank account, and that makes me happy. Yeah. And I still have time to spend with the family. You know, like I said, man, one mentor told me, be a motherfucker and take your family on 3 vacations a year. 1 because you have to, 2 because you want to, and 3 because you're the motherfucker that can. I was like, well, I'm gonna try 4.
Wow.
He's like, don't get cocky. I was like, yes, sir. I'm not going to say what it is. If he hears it, he'll know who he is. Yeah. I'm not going to give too many people credit, but, you know, and that's who I am, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, and the one thing I haven't been doing, I used to be pretty big in jiu-jitsu. I'm so busy right now, I can't find the time. I got to have that white belt mentality where I need the mat hours. I got to get back on there.
Yeah.
But because, you know, I use my 3 things. Got to prioritize, strategize, and monetize everything I do in my life. That's what I am doing now. I just do those 3 fucking things. I focus on my 4 F-bombs, my family, my fitness, my finances, and faith. And I focus on my 4 pillars of success. Teamwork, problem solving, leadership, and communication. That's it, baby. That's all I do. I mean, the world is complex and complicated enough. I don't make it any harder. I try to simplify everything down. And, you know, I mean, I'm still figuring it out. Now, once I can learn these systems and get these guys to start doing stuff for me, I'm going to take over the whole fucking world.
Yeah, baby. So, hey, Ray, you mentioned something today about faith, and we talked about giving to the church a little bit. Yeah. Your wife, you know, speaking and practicing up on stage, and you feeling, you know, real rewarded about, you know, stroking these, you know, pretty significant checks to the pastor.
In my book, it is. Your book's a little different. Sure. But fuck you, it's coming.
Yeah, my humble opinion. But no. In all reality, you know, and you're a combat vet, and you've, you know, gone overseas and defended the country and our freedoms. You know, you're a true patriot, right? You know, tell us a little bit about your faith and kind of, you know, the challenges you've had and how that's, you know, really helped shape who you are. And because you've really made this ascension, right? We've seen you make this ascension, you know, pretty much in the past, 8, 10, 12 months. That's pretty significant change. So tell us how that's kind of affected you and where you're at.
Well, I tell people I'm not a believer, I'm believing. As in, my wife is very religious and I love her and she does so much with the church. Pray every night.
Okay.
We pray every night as a family, no matter where I am.
Wow.
You see me at dinner, I pray. And I thank God for very few things, you know, for my health, my family, and right now the financial stability that I have. I keep it very simple. I don't want to take up too much of the big man's time.
Right.
And then at night we pray that. But, you know, I've done some things that sometimes, you know, in my past life, that it's sometimes I have to question who I am, what I've done, and, you know, is God going to judge me for some of the shit that I've had to do? But, you know, when you do things like this for a greater good, I justify. You know, I sleep like a baby, I sleep like an angel at night, but, you know, I have done some things that they're a little different than most, you know. Sure. I've had to do some things, see some things, witnessed a lot of horror and tragedy. So sometimes I question, you know, how can a God create such turmoil and chaos? And I think it's just about, you know, balancing out the earth. There's good, there's bad, there's highs, there's lows. I know he has a plan for everything. So I'm definitely, it's work in progress. Everything I do is work in progress. But when people say, are you a believer? I'm believing. I'm going at a slower pace than most, but a faster pace than some.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, Sunday morning with Pastor Hank and Trevellis, we're always up front row. I'm singing my fucking ass off. You know, singing with my wife, and she loves it because I can't sing.
Sure.
And I'm, you know, my tone's off, and sometimes keeping the rhythm is a little hard, but we do it as a family, and it's just one thing it's bringing us closer together. And I do think, I'm starting to really feel that, me giving myself to the man upstairs is he's starting to give back more to me.
Yeah.
So I do believe that, a lot of what I do is self-made, but, I do believe in luck and I do believe in a higher power. So I don't know what that equation is, but I know it's part of the full circle that's making me who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really neat story, and I appreciate you sharing that. Because in life as an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of faith, right? To defend your freedom, and our country's freedom takes a lot of faith, right? Yeah. And then to give yourself up to something besides yourself, that takes a lot of faith, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, where do you get that faith? Well, you ask for it. And so that's pretty neat, man, that, a strong guy, push-up champion, decorated Navy SEAL, true patriot, now entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, right? You're realizing that even though you got it all put together, and most people outside looking in are like, holy shit, look at this guy, right? You know that you need some help. Yeah. Which is pretty neat, right? Yeah. I need some help.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think it's worth noting that, like, the highest level guys, right, they look to other high level guys and they ask for help. They look to God, Jesus, ask for help. And I think that's pretty neat, man.
Everybody in some point or venture of their life has had a mentor in some fashion. Even the big dogs, the OGs of OGs, the Grovers, the Robins, everybody has had mentors. So I think the one thing that I finally did is I dropped the ego. I was Navy SEAL. I can do everything. I think that's when, when I started getting the mentors in my life, the Matts, the Wesses, the Bedroses. And I mean, these guys shit out more knowledge than I know, but fuck, I'm taking what I can and I'm holding on to everything. And I think I have a long way to go. I mean, I like where I've come, but you know the deal, man. We're never happy. No. We're never satisfied. And I don't want to be. As long as I can still keep some form of balance with the family, and what I'm doing is ethical. I'm trying to. I try to keep my morals very ethical and very grounded. And that's what I love about my queen, man. Because when you start making money, first thing I started doing is I'll admit it, I got cocky. Started getting fucking cocky, and she's like, "Who the fuck you think you are?" Right. So she puts me in my place, and I need that like all the time. I love that. I told you the story the other day when she went down to Florida. And this is what's so cool about having money, if anybody's listening. My wife's, her and my daughter down in Miami doing something, and she went to a Louis Vuitton store, and they were just bumming. And like, when you get you don't look the part, so they're watching you like you're going to steal something. She's like, I can't believe this. These people are looking at me. I was like, baby, go buy something. You know what? Buy 2 or 3 things. She's like, you know what? I'm going to. So, walking out with the bags, it made me feel good. It is. It's a good feeling. I know people are like, you keep going to the materialistic things, but I will tell you this right now, man. I've been poor as fuck. When you can have your queen and your daughter go into a place and, to a point, not worry about what things cost. I mean, there's, I'm not going in like you and Wes and buying the 20 and 30, the big things, but to be able to go in there and pick out something, 6, 7 G's, it's rewarding. I love when my wife is wearing things or my daughter's wearing a gold. I love that. And I know people go, oh man, you're just bragging. No, Wes told me, fuck that shit, man. Show everybody the cars that you got. Show them. Yeah. Right. First thing I did, you saw the video today. As soon as I bought that car for my wife, I showed it to Wes. First person I showed it to. Then I showed it to Matt. Then I showed it to Bedros. Then I showed, I showed him that. Right. And I ask all my mentors, hey, should I stroke a check? Yeah, man, if you can, do it. Okay. Matt's my guy who helps me more with the numbers. Wes is the guy that's just, fuck it, do it. I got love you. Fuck it, do it with that voice.
Get it done and fucking call me later.
Yeah. And I'm doing it. So, what's next, Holmes? We're just going to keep doing what we're doing and just do it better.
Yeah. So, if you could, rewind 20 years, right? And you could give yourself some advice. What would the advice be, Ray? Talk to us.
My advice would be drop the fucking ego, ask for help as soon as you can. Don't let age, because I was like, oh man, he's only 20-some years old. He don't know shit, or 30. He don't know shit about what he's doing. Guy's a genius at what he does. Bring people into your life who are better than you so that you can grow off that versus, I'm a Navy SEAL, I'm the best there is. Now, man, every single person I hang out with is bigger, better, faster, and stronger than me.
Yeah.
Because I got nowhere to go but up.
Right.
I'm either going to go up or I'm going to get cut out.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere.
That's right. Well, Ray, we appreciate you coming out. I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure. Couldn't ask for a better guest today. Couldn't ask for a better afternoon. It's Sunday. And a little glimpse into our sit down. We appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
Boom.
Right here.